Because I think we need a complete reinvention of our language, of how we understand and discuss politics. Politics has been sold to us as a head-to-head competition. I think it's more like an escape room. But the concept is that you're all together in a room and you got to figure out how to get out. And you got to work together. You need all of you to, a good escape room, make sure that everybody has to contribute, that you're all working toward the same goal, moving toward the same direction. It takes all of you. America 2.0. I'll answer the question for you that is in the description of this video. Am I, Mark J. Lindquist, running for office again? I have the answer. Are you ready? Breaking news. No fucking way. Not a chance. The last time I was stupid enough to do that shit, I ended up in the Fargo VA mental health ward. I don't know. I couldn't handle it. I couldn't figure out a way to fix it. I couldn't figure out a way to get us out of this clearly wrong path. And so no, there's no way. And I know that you think that that's what all politicians say. I'm not a politician. I'm a motivational speaker and a do-gooder and a veteran, right? So here's my solemn vow to you. If I ever announce that again, you have my permission to kick me in the balls until I can't walk anymore, all right? Or you have to just take me out. I don't want to be a part of that. But what I can do, and what I think aligns with my strengths and my skill set, is I can lead the thought. What do you think I've been doing professionally for the last 11 years on stages all over the country? For the Fortune 500, for billion-dollar organizations, for 1 million people the last 11 years. I've been leading thought from stage. Well, this is the new stage, apparently. YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and all that. This is the new stage of the modern world. So where am I? I'm right here in front of you. I got a microphone and away we go. So what I believe that I can do and what I'm doing right now is I'm applying for the role in your life of the person that sparks your political thought of the day, right? Hey, why wouldn't I? I mean, people listen to MSNBC and Fox News and CNN and Newsmax and Brian Tyler Cohen and Ben Shapiro, and they get their political thought of the day. I'm applying for the job, right? That's not what I do professionally, but, well, I guess it is now. This is what I'm doing full time. All day long, I'm thinking about, all right, how do I make it make sense to the American people that we need to change our thinking about American politics? Now, I get it. That is a steep mountain to climb. I get the fact that undoing years of conditioning, of believing that Republicans and Democrats are inevitable and believing that there's nothing any of us could do about it, that's going to take a lot. Well, how do you solve any big problem? You start. This is me starting. So if I'm applying to be your source of your political thought of the day, because, like, if you watch this, I think that you're politically minded. If you watch this, I think you give a shit about it. I think you want it to be better. I think thus far you have wanted your side to win. I am offering a framework of thought that doesn't divide us like that. It's just political parties, Republican and Democrat. I got nothing against you as people, because there's a lot of people I love in my life who are both Republicans and Democrats. Hear me out. What I'm trying to say is, it's not the most intelligent way to sort society and then thus send people to represent us all, make decisions for us all in a body of 538 people. It's not the best way optimally to do it. And so I am presenting a framework of thought that in America 2.0, in the next 250 years, what if we did it differently? What if there was a segment of American society that started with these Facebook followers, my 14,000 followers on X and my 4,400 followers on Instagram, and my 12 followers on YouTube and my 5,500 on LinkedIn. It's about 35,000 people that I'm starting with. We're not starting from scratch. This movement may have some momentum already. Well, let me go down. Let me go on that rabbit hole real quick, and I'll come back to whatever the hell I was just talking about. I believe as I think you could believe that something like this could be started by someone like me. Why? Because there's no reason why you would know this, because you don't live my life, you're not with me all the time. For the past 7 or 8 years, once I had started singing the national anthem on, Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football for Duke University versus UNC, when the president was there, and singing at big events, the Reagan National Library called me and asked me to sing for their Reagan National Defense Forum in front of the Secretary of Defense. Like, I got invited to do that, and they flew me out there to Simi Valley to the Reagan Library. It was the proudest moment of my career to be able to perform for the Secretary of Defense and the former CIA director and the former chief of staff of the White House and the chief of staff of the Air Force, who became the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Like, a kid from Ortonville, Minnesota, who used to sing the national anthem at the Friday night football games in Ortonville, got to do that. So what I'm saying is, it came to a point where I was performing for, 50 to 75 million people, maybe 100 million people a year on national television or regional television. And so I am one of the 2 or 3 veterans in America that NFL fans would recognize but wouldn't know their name, right? That nobody knows my name. But if you say Asian national anthem singer with the blue hat, Air Force Blues on Veterans Day, and then you show people my picture, they say, that's right, I've seen that guy. Because the NFL puts it on TV for 100 million people a year, or 50, or whatever it is that year. So I'm not famous, but I am, with the right context and right cues, I am recognizable. The other one is Gerald Wilson. He's from Kansas City. He's a Navy veteran. You might recognize him. Google him. He's the black Navy veteran. He wears the black Navy dress uniform, and he sings it loud and proud. I know him, because we're the only 2 national anthem singers who do it on the national stage consistently for the NFL. And so with that, there is a possibility that the million people that have seen me live in speaking audiences and how many NFL fans are there? There's 50 to 100 million NFL fans, right? And the 100 million people in America who would recognize me with that context, there's absolutely a possibility that our way of thinking about America 2.0 could gain traction in the country and become the new way that a certain segment of us think. I am not so delusional to believe that I'm going to get everybody to think like me and think like we're presenting here in America 2.0. There's going to be people who hold on to Republican thinking and Democratic thinking and partisan politics and left versus right and liberal and conservative. I get it. What I am trying to uncover here for us all is a way of thinking about things political, about solutions in the government, and about self-governance that keeps it from being such a shit show and so divisive and doesn't end up with the result of neighbors hating neighbors. Oh, folks, neighbors hate neighbors if you have the wrong political sign in your front yard. First of all, in America 2.0, can we stop with the political signs in the front yard? Does that do any good? And that is such 1970s thinking of politics. Stop with that. It just makes people mad, and it just wastes everybody's time. Stop with the political signs. Stop with the R&D behind your name on television, because subconsciously you're not even listening to the person that is on the screen, because you already know that you're either for them or against them. If you're a Democrat and the Republican has an R behind their name, you're already going to filter it through the lens of, this person is the source of my problems, they're an idiot, I don't believe what they're saying, I don't agree with them, and they're the enemy. Almost equally as dangerous is if you're a Democrat and you see Democrat D behind their name. Now all of a sudden you're going to be pre-programmed to agree with everything that person says. Get rid of the R and D and I behind people's names. Let people think for themselves. Listen to what is being said and decide for themselves. Okay, I digress. Okay, what were we talking about before? Applying to be your source of your political thought during the day. You're gonna think something political today. If you're watching this still at 9 minutes and 12 seconds, you are probably someone who who spend some of their time scrolling the internet or having discussions about politics, or you probably vote, you probably pay attention to what's happening in Washington, well, then I am applying for the job of being your source of that political thought during the day. You could spend your time and energy worrying about what happens in Washington inside that broken system that is just going to, cannibalize itself, and eventually it's going to take the country down with us. You could do that. That's what most people do these days. They listen to MSNBC, they listen to CNN, they listen to Fox, they listen to their news station of choice, and then the discussion they have that day at the coffee shops and with their friends is whatever Fox News said, whatever MSNBC said, whatever your favorite political analyst said. I don't want to talk about any of what they're talking about, because I think we need a complete reinvention of our language, of how we understand and discuss politics. And here's one idea for you. I'm sorry it took 10 minutes and 15 seconds to get to this. I'm new at this, right? I'm new at this format. Bear with me. Well, we'll get better. Here's your political thought of the day. Politics has been sold to us as a head-to-head competition. I think it's more like an escape room. Think about an escape room. I don't know if you've ever done one of those, but the concept is that you're all together in a room and you got to figure out how to get out. And you got to work together. You need all of you to, a good escape room, make sure that everybody has to contribute, that you're all working toward the same goal, moving towards the same direction. It takes all of you. So it's more like, it's less like a combat sport, which has been sold to us, It's more like a potluck. It's less like this adversarial me versus you, us versus them, red versus blue, left versus right, conservative versus liberal framework. And it's more like we're in an orchestra. And we need all the instruments to play. You're in a choir. You need all the voices to make it sound as perfect as it can be. That's what the United States of America is. We are an orchestra. We are a choir. We all should be moving toward the same direction of wanting better things for America and handing off a better version of politics and self-governance to our children and grandchildren. We are not in a combat sport with our fellow American. At least, I don't want us to be in America 2.0. Final thought here. We'll make this one 15 minutes today. So what is that? It's a 2,000-word speech or so. Did you know, did it ever occur to you that the largest voting bloc in America is those that don't vote? The vote of no confidence is the largest voting bloc in America. Actually, during presidential years, it's about head-to-head. It's about a third. But in off-year elections like 2026, those of us who do not vote will outnumber either political party by 50 to, call it 70 million, right? Could be 50 to 90 million. I don't know. I think it was 2014 that the people who didn't vote outnumbered either political party by 90 million plus in 2014. Look that up. Verify that. I mean, I want you to go look it up for yourself. There's a lot more people in the midterm elections that don't vote than do vote for a party. What I mean by that is, on average, what if the political party in the midterm elections is getting 40 or 50 million votes? There's 50 to 70 million people who don't vote for either or anybody. We're the largest voting bloc in America who just doesn't believe in the system at all. And I'll tell you, I'll be right up front. I didn't vote this last year. And you might be pissed off at me because of that. But look at what the options are. I just couldn't in good conscience send in my absentee ballot. No way. I don't believe in what they're doing. And I meet with these people. I don't know if you know this. I travel to Washington, D.C. and have multiple times in the last 3.5 years, I'm invited. I am invited to one-on-one meetings with U.S. senators and members of Congress. I brief them on Ukraine. I brief them on what's happening in the defense sector over here. I brief them on what I think they need to know as a veteran, as somebody who sees the lay of the land out here in Ukraine and understands what exactly the American government could do to be able to support the cause of freedom on the eastern edge of the free world. I go to those meetings. I am invited. I meet with senior staff. They have my number. They pick up my call. I got a letter from one of the chiefs of staff of Don Bacon's office, the congressman from Nebraska, right over there. They meet with me. I brief them like I used to in the intelligence unit in the Air Force. But I don't believe in the system that they're a part of. I don't believe in the system that they allow to continue and persist. I think that it is our time to replace 87% of them. We could do that next year, by the way. I want to keep reminding you of that. You could replace all 435 of them next year and a third of the Senate. Next year, if we wanted. I don't think we're ready for that. But I just want to let you know that that's possible. I want a framework of thought to be presented in America when we talk about these things, to come to the table and say, you know what? Let's do it like Kiwanis and Lions and Rotary. At the beginning of every meeting, we share what we agree upon. We agree upon, the golden rule, and we agree upon the four-way test from Rotary, and we agree upon these values of what it is to be a Lions member and a member of society. What if when we got together and talked about politics, which eventually we will in America 2.0, we'll get together in town halls and on Zoom, we will, at the very beginning of the meeting, all agree and shake hands virtually or in person and say, you know what, we're not ideological here, and we're not representing a political party, and here is a place where we're setting that aside, and we are only here to come up with solutions that may be something that 80% of us could agree upon. We no longer subscribe to 50 plus 1 is sufficient. We, the new generation of people who are going to run this country in America 2.0, my age and younger, we are going to subscribe to a politics that seeks to find 80-20 solutions, right? 20% we're never going to get them. But 80%, we could find solutions. Don't tell me it's not possible. Don't tell me, because we've never tried. Final word. Look at this. I could talk about this all day long. This could be an hour-long talk if you want. The final word is, I believe this is possible. Why? Because look at the world we live in. There are many people in America who have 1 million followers, right? And a lot of them are, they're cat videos, or they're people getting hit in the nuts and fail army and all this stuff. There's sports content, there's political content, there's celebrity content, there's people who do funny videos in their kitchen, and I follow them too. But are you telling me that it is not possible, if we come up with the right thoughts, if we come up with the right way to articulate a new frame of thinking, a new framework of thought about American politics and self-governance, you don't think it's possible we couldn't find 1 million people in America to say, yeah, I am sick of what's going on. Let me at least listen to this from time to time. It's definitely possible. Once we get there, all bets are off. We could absolutely, in today's day and age, why wouldn't this be something that the country is willing to, the low bar of follow. I'm just asking you to follow. Go follow on Twitter, on X, on Instagram, on Threads, whatever your favorite thing is. Well, Threads doesn't promote politics, so I probably won't do it there. But YouTube, search Mark J. Lindquist. I'm going to be doing it there. I'm going to use my brand, my persona, my public image to advance these thoughts in America 2.0. All it is, I'm not asking for your money. I'm not asking for anything. I'm not asking for your agreement. I'm not asking for your comments yet. We will get there in the future. We will gather together and we will, have a potluck of thoughts. But for now, I'm just asking you to follow. You can't tell me it's not possible that we can't get something like this off the ground. It starts with the 35,000 of us that are on my social media so far, and we're going to move this thing forward. We got to get to 100,000 by the end of the year. We got to get to 500,000 by spring next year. We got to get to 1 million by election season next fall, when everybody's paying attention to politics again. That's my goal, right? I got no skin in the game. I'm not running for office. No way. But I'm leading thought. I want to change people's mindsets about politics in America. 18 minutes. That was a TED Talk. I got to go. Love ya. America 2.0. Here we go.